Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today we're taking a look at a new Lattafa, and it's Lattafa's Majd Al Sultan Black Intense. Alright, so Majd Al Sultan Black Intense is from the House of Lattafa. It is an eau de parfum concentration, and you can pick this sucker up for $28 at places like Fragrance Buy. I'll have a link down in the description if you decide you want to check this one out. Also have a coupon code. Save yourself $5 off your first purchase at Fragrance Buy if you decide you want to shop with them. Box presentation on this, pretty straightforward cardboard box, but it does have this kind of nice little kind of velvet fuzziness to it, so it adds a little bit of extra character, a little bit of extra interest. It does have these kind of like vine leaves kind of worked into that fuzzy pattern there. All the necessaries on the back, but overall box presentation, pretty straightforward. I do kind of like that fuzzy texture to it. It is kind of nice, but overall a pretty straightforward cardboard box. Bottle on this, very similar to the original Majd Al Sultan. So this is the flanker, the Black Intense. So same sort of design with that, has this nice metal plaque sitting up front. And it is also kind of a fuzzy style of fabric to this. So I kind of like this one a little bit better than the original Majd Al Sultan because I think it's just because of the color. It's like a brown, so it has this kind of like 1970s living room feel, whereas this is all black. It's kind of classy and sexy, but overall, pretty straightforward bottle presentation. Cap on this is a light, cheap plastic. A little sturdy, so I don't think I'm gonna break this one, but this is not a metal cap, nothing too special to it. And the atomizer on this, decent, gets the job done, decent distribution, decent puffs on this. So overall, box and bottle presentation on this, pretty good, but nothing mind-blowing. So if you were wondering what Majd Al Sultan Black Intense smells like, you have come to the right place, because I'm about to tell you. But first, a fun fact. We can't do an episode here without a fun fact. Majd, I figured out, translate to something meaning something along the lines of glory, and Al Sultan meaning sultan, or someone of like moral or spiritual kind of leadership or authority. So this is glory to the sultan, glory to the person of moral or spiritual, superiority, leadership, something along those lines. So there you go. There's your fun fact from Post Cologne. Linguistic translations as always, fragrance reviews. So like and subscribe if you haven't already, go do that right now. So some of the notes listed in this are bergamot, cardamom, lavender, date, vanilla, patchouli, and amber. So let me tell you what I get from this fragrance. In the opening, we skip over that bergamot and pretty much that cardamom. I do not pick up on any bergamot. Maybe a touch of like kind of that fresh spiciness from the cardamom, but not a whole lot. What really comes forward, drives forward immediately is that lavender and that date. So the lavender has this nice, fresh, clean powderiness to it, a little bit aromatic. That date has that fruit style of sweetness, but it's not like an overly sugary style of sweetness to me. It's a little bit more subdued, a little bit more subtle, but it is that nice style of fruit sweetness, and it mixes together with that nice powdery, clean lavender, and just has a very pleasant, enjoyable, kind of fresh out the laundry with a little bit of fruit kind of mixed in there, sort of scented accord. As this kind of dries down a little bit more and it sort of develops, it gets this really interesting scent accord that comes through, which I believe is from the patchouli and from the amber. So that patchouli earthiness and that kind of greenness mixes with that amber, and it almost gets this kind of woody accord that comes through with just like this kiss of smoke. And so it's not like it's not a smoky fragrance. It's not like an incense note or like a really kind of dry amber sort of feel. It's just this kiss of kind of warmth, kiss of smoke that works in with that patchouli and a little bit of that sweetness and warmth from the dry amber. Very, very interesting how it kind of forms this kind of woody accord. In my brain, at least, that's what I pick up on. Really enjoy that one. It's very kind of unique, but that lavender and that date still sit on top of it, still has that powderiness, that sweetness, that kind of fresh vibe going on, but that patchouli amber combination just adds like a little bit of a character, a little bit of a unique twist to it. Very, very nice. Best way I can put this is like sitting in like a freshly cleaned, like luxurious kind of laundry detergent, dryer sheet, fresh, clean lavender, white robe, eating a bowl of dates, and there's like a dry cedar sauna that's just in the background that you're sitting outside of. So it's not like sitting in a dry sauna, but you can smell kind of a dry sauna in the background in your nice, fresh, clean white robe, eating a bowl of dates. And as this gets to the dry down, more of that vanilla comes through and just kind of dances around the edges a little bit, adding a little bit of softness to it, a little bit of added sweetness. And it's just a very pleasant, enjoyable, easygoing, mass appealing style of fragrance. And I really do enjoy it. Now, when it comes to the performance of Majd Al Sultan Black Intense, I'm going to admit I'm a little let down. I've heard other people get some like 8-9 hours, I think someone had mentioned before, of performance off this. That has not been my experience. It could be that I'm in the dead of the Canadian winter right now and it's very cold, it's very dry, but I'm only getting about 5-6 hours of longevity off of my skin, and for projection, it is fairly weak. It's like moderate at best. This is not pushing off my skin very hard. It becomes very faint very quickly. So for me, the performance has been below average, maybe sitting at average when it comes to the longevity, and I do find the projection to be fairly weak. So I am a little bit disappointed with the performance, especially because this is noted as an intense fragrance, the black intense kind of flanker. So I was a little bit let down with the performance. It could just be the environment I'm in, it could be just my skin, but for me, my experience is the performance has been a bit of a letdown. So when it comes to the where and when, I think Majd Al Sultan Black Intense would be most appropriate. I definitely think this is a versatile fragrance, but I think this just would shine the best in the spring, sort of summer evenings, and maybe even into the fall. It just has more of a spring vibe to it, where it has that kind of freshness, that rejuvenating kind of fresh fruit with that clean lavender, and a little bit of that kind of woody nature that comes through. Just has that kind of spring vibe written to it. Summer evenings for sure, I could see this being worn, and even into the fall. I think in the winter, this is where I've been wearing it. It just doesn't seem to fit the vibe too much. It's just got too much of that clean aromatic nature to it. It just doesn't have that kind of nice push through the cold style of vibe going to it. So spring, summer, I think this is where this is best, but I do think it's pretty versatile all year round. In terms of occasions, I think this is a great casual fragrance. I think you're very mass appealing, very easy to wear, dumb reach style of fragrance. You're not going to offend anybody. Running errands, going out to lunch, just hanging out with your friends, this is going to work for you. I think you can wear this to the office, no problem. Like I said, this doesn't push out huge. This is not like a beast mode fragrance by any means, and the scent accords on this are not offensive, mass appealing, definitely easy to wear. Date night, you can pull this off. This doesn't have necessarily that sensuality to it. It has that clean feel, a little bit of sweetness to it, so you could get away with a date night, but there are other fragrances out there I would reach for before this one for date night. So definitely a casual wear fragrance. Wear it to the office. I think that's where you're gonna absolutely do best with this one. So overall, pretty versatile and very casual. So my overall thoughts on Majd Al Sultan Black Intense. This is a very enjoyable, pleasant, inoffensive, mass appealing style of fragrance from Lattafa, and I think they did a good job. I like that clean, fresh, powdery lavender mixed with that sweetness of that date that sits on top of that very interesting kind of patchouli, dry or amber sort of accord. It gives it that kind of wood, a little kiss of smoke, and that nice vanilla that kind of comes in through the end, softening things out, giving it a little bit of added sweetness to it. Very, very enjoyable fragrance. You're not going to offend anybody. Great casual wear, and I think this is going to just do great in the spring and the summer. I am let down in terms of the performance, and I am going to say that I think calling this intense in the name is a bit misleading. There's nothing intense in terms of the performance of this, first and foremost, and in terms of the scent accord. I don't find there's any real intensity to this. There's no boldness to this. There's nothing like overly kind of masculine or anything to kind of justify calling it intense. I personally just felt a little misled when I first smelled this one. I was thinking there was going to be something intense about this, and unfortunately I found that there wasn't. I think for $28, this is a good mass appealing style of fragrance, but I'm not like overly thrilled that I have this in my collection. It's a good fragrance, just maybe not a great fragrance at this point. Maybe this is going to take some time, wear it in the warmer months and see how it goes, but overall, it was an average fragrance for me. Nothing I'm too excited about. Like I said, it's a mass appealing fragrance, but nothing too intense. Just my personal opinion, and that's what you came here for. And I want to hear from you guys. What's one Lattafa fragrance that I haven't covered yet that you want to see a review on? Comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. Love getting your different recommendations. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.